Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to talk about the University of North Carolina shooting and the circumstances and facts surrounding the case. This is one case that I think is one of too many that we can't have reoccurring anymore in our society, irrespective of whichever country you find yourself. But before I get into the technicalities of the case and other extenuating factors that could have led up to this shooting, let's first get into the facts of this particular case and then I'll add my 2 cents. Ironically, both the victim and the suspect happen to be of Eastern Asian origin. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or that in itself could be something that could lead to something else that may influence the case. Investigations are still ongoing, so I'll leave it at that on the bit of how synonymous their origins are. But this case involves a suspect by name Tailei Qi, who is just 34 years old, and his victim by name Zijie Yan, who was an associate professor of applied sciences in this particular university. Now, the whole thing just happened at random because you wouldn't have known this was something was leading up to this. There are no reports or any facts out there talking about prior indications of tension or conflict between these two. So it was a bit of a surprise, actually, more of a surprise, if I should say, when just this past Monday, 2 days ago, on the 28th of August 2023, the student, Tailei Qi, 34 years old, just walked into one of the classrooms on the campuses of the University of North Carolina, where the associate professor, Zijie Yan, was actually teaching, and then pulled a gun out and unfortunately, fatally shot this professor. And after that, he exited quickly and left. Now, the question is, why? We will get to that. So, it's also a bit ironic again that these two had a relationship on the same campus. Although the suspect, Tailei Qi, is said to be a graduate from the Wuhan University, he was now pursuing a degree at the University of North Carolina, where Zijie Yan was one of his teachers or professors, so to speak. And it turns out that he was his faculty advisor. So they knew each other, at least on campus, where Zijie Yan, the victim, was the faculty advisor to Tailei Qi. So I hold some degrees myself. Yeah, I'm proud of that though. But what would make you, the student, decide to wake up one morning, pick up a weapon, head off to campus, go to your lecturer or your associate professor, who is also your faculty advisor, and fatally shoot this person? I think that this is a crime that reeks of something personal. But like I said, we'll get to that. Now, after committing this gruesome offense, Zijie Yan, no, sorry, Tailei Qi, the suspect, quickly just left the campus. And it threw the campus into a frenzy because imagine you are a student on this campus. You have your lecture and you are going through your lectures. It's a normal day, as has been throughout the year and the years prior. And all of a sudden, you hear gunshots. Imagine how that would be, how unsettling that would be. Not to talk of the chaos that ensued afterwards. We have some people jumping from windows. There are videos of some students jumping out of windows just so they stand a chance of fleeing from the shooter. And more so at a point in time where there are several prior cases of school shootings across the country, in the United States of America, especially. If you're a student in a university and you happen to hear a gunshot, I think that the level of panic that will emanate from that trigger of the gunshot will be really extreme. So I wasn't surprised when I saw some people jumping out of windows, but I just hope that nobody got hurt. And it's unfortunate though, but after committing this gruesome act, Tailei Qi just left the premises. I don't know where he was heading to, but just 2 hours after that, he was actually apprehended by the police in a residential neighborhood close to campus. And he was arrested without any resistance. So for me, this is what I'm thinking. I think that it was personal. That is what I think. It was something personal between the two of them. And some way, somehow, out of that, Tailei Qi felt he had a score to settle. That is what I'm thinking. I could be wrong though. Now, after his arrest, he has been charged with first-degree murder and also charged for having a gun on an educational property. So back to the question of the why. Why would a student gun down his associate professor and his faculty advisor at that? And the track record of the victim, Mr. Zijie Yan, is impeccable. He has done so much with the university since he joined about 2019 thereabout. And over the course of that 4 years, he has done so much. He even has a research program or a research group known as the Yan Research Group. And this group is doing so much and an amazing job, especially in the field of nanotechnology and all. So this is somebody who is committing and contributing so much to society. And it's just so sad that his life has to come to an abrupt end in the manner in which it did. Before I even proceed, I'll send a condolence to his family and his loved ones. And I wish that they find the strength to go through this difficult time, and also they find the justice they seek from the justice system so that at least they can find some closure. But back to the why, because at the end of the day, it has to make some sense as to why somebody would do this to Yan. And not just anybody, but his own student. Now, Tailei Qi is a graduate from the Wuhan University. And upon gaining admission at the University of North Carolina, he was having the victim, Zijie Yan, as his faculty advisor up until he decided to take his life. Now, here are the theories that I have in mind. All of them could be false or not true. All of them could also be possibilities, out of which one or two might actually be true. I am not trying to rule on it in any way. I'm just trying to analyze to see what could have possibly led to this. The first, I think, is that they may have had a sort of personal relationship outside of school, a relationship that goes beyond the professor and student relationship, especially given the fact that they are both young men and they may have had some things in common. They may have had a friendship of a sort, not that I'm talking about a romantic one, just a friendship of a sort, which could have degenerated into this based on a misunderstanding that ensued. That is the first possibility. And I don't think that is something that is too far to reach for as a possibility, because when it comes to these type of relationships, student-teacher relationships, sometimes, especially in the age bracket, if they are not that old apart, there's the tendency of some friendships just coming up, although it's supposed to be ethical. I don't know which form of friendship could or may have existed between these guys, but there's a possibility they had a form of friendship and a misunderstanding ensued from that. Then there's also the more likely possibility that it was something that emanated out of their academic relationship, where maybe the professor or the faculty advisor, Mr. Yan, might have done something that the suspect was not happy with. It could be something he did or didn't do, actually. And the suspect decided this was how he was going to take his anger out on him. But again, the question is, what could it have been if it was an academic issue? Did he have an F? Did they give him an F in an exam? Did he fail him? Did he give him an advice in his role as a faculty advisor, which turned out not to be favorable? I don't think this is enough grounds for somebody to decide to take somebody's life because, like I said, I feel this is personal. I feel that this is something that goes beyond a mere professional mistake or misunderstanding. I think some way, somehow, irrespective of what their relationship was or wasn't, the suspect was triggered beyond academic relationship or was triggered in the course of an academic relationship, which affected him so deeply. He resented this man so much, he decided that the only way to go was to pull the gun on him. I could be wrong, like I said, and I think it's good I mentioned that the investigations are ongoing. This case is just 2 days old, actually, and it's still unfolding as it is. Already, the suspect, Tailei Qi, has made his first appearance in court, but he didn't speak. He didn't speak, not to even extend to speaking on the issue at all, to even extend to explaining why he did what he did. So only him, as at now, knows the reasons or the reason for what he did to Zijie Yan, his associate professor. But I trust the security officials and I know that they are going to get to the bottom of this. It's also a possibility that it could have been out of a misunderstanding that even extends beyond the borders of the United States if they happen to have history from their home countries before coming to the USA. That is also a possibility. That is a bit of a stretch, but hey, in crimes like this, you can't rule anything out. Now, aside my 2 cents, I also think that the police and the institution are doing very well with regards to the trauma supports that they gave out to the students after the incident. I saw videos of students jumping out of windows, and you could see the fear in their eyes. You could see the panic in how they moved. You could see that adrenaline had kicked in, and they felt it's better they try to flee and even get themselves injured in the process instead of having to sit around and get shot. And I think that it will take a great deal of support and emotional, trauma support before the students can come back to their normal selves again, at least some of them, because this is not an easy thing. So I think it is good that the school and other agencies, including the police, are helping them out with trauma pets and all to help them come out of this trauma. I think it's good. But I think maybe it could also be a sign that there should be improved securities around schools because the guy shouldn't have even been able to get access into the school with the gun on him. I think that there should have been an effective preventive control in place, which would have prevented him or made it impossible for him to enter the campus with the weapon on him. Because at the point he took this man's life, he could have gone on to attempt to take the lives of others who were there with the man. And no matter how fast police response would have been, it would have been after the fact. These are my 2 cents. I think that maybe the school or other schools should take a cue from this and try to see the level of preventive controls they can put in place as measures to impede or frustrate attempts of people in the future to try and bring weapons to the school to harm somebody. This could have gone a long way to prevent certain tragedies if they were robust enough. My heart goes out to the families though. And then with these students too, I think that they would also be able to find some form of closure if the whole case is brought to rest in the law courts and the decision is made and a sentence is given. Although they are also going to mourn their professor. Already, today being Wednesday, there's this famous bell tower on campus and it's going to ring in honor of the memory of the professor, Professor Yan. And I hope he rests in peace. I wish him a peaceful rest. Now, in concluding my video, this is the advice I would give. And hey, I'm no wise man. This is just my 2 cents and an advice. I think that sorry, the world is gradually going crazy because of the things that are happening. But then somebody also tells me it's always been like this, maybe even worse. But you get to hear more of these things because now there's internet and social media. And I'm like, that is an interesting theory. It could be true, but well, since there's nothing to prove it is, I would still say that it looks like the world is getting crazier and some people are getting more easily irritated and more easily triggered. In that regard, we need to play safe as as a defense. What do we do? I think that we should make a genuine effort to respect the emotions of others and how we affect them. If you are speaking to people, don't try to speak down to people. Don't try to disrespect people just because you are in a position or you may be in a position where you feel you are better than them or higher than them. There are some people who just take what you are saying cool. They may not be happy about it, but it just ends there. And then there are people who would be so angry with you, they can do what Tailei Qi has done. And because you can't know, talking to the person, how the person is going to react, I think it's better we learn to respect the emotions of people. Everybody deserves respect, even if they are right or wrong on something. It doesn't warrant you to speak to them anyhow. And if you are not careful, you could end up triggering somebody who could come after you. And by extension, too, I think we owe each other apologies when we are wrong. Don't be too proud to say so sorry. Sometimes a simple and sincere apology and a demonstration of genuine remorse can go a long way to prevent a war from even happening. If only we could swallow our egos. That is not to say that these are the things that didn't go right in this case, but I'm just talking about general life where we are dealing with human beings. Let's make these things gold nuggets that we are working with. And you would find over time that it will help you navigate through issues and conflicts better without them escalating. You become an agent of de escalation of issues. You could still make your point without escalating things to be so much worse. Tell me what you think about this case. Do you think there's more to it? What do you think the police are going to find? What do you think is the reason for Tailei Qi, the student, deciding to end the life of his associate professor and faculty advisor? Do you think that they being of Asian origin has anything to do with whatever the root cause of the case might be? Or it's just a coincidence? Because some people are trying to draw inferences from that. But I don't know because investigations are still ongoing and nothing has come out in that direction yet. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But hey, subscribe to our channel, turn on post notifications, share our videos to promote our campaign against femicide. And like I've always been saying, please keep an eye out and stay safe out there. Catch you next time.